It's Craig Mendy back again with another awareness statement that I actually had. It's actually called the chrysalis effect. Now, before I actually get into the chrysalis effect, I actually do have a self belief that everything around us, like the nature around us, is an imitation to how the human is actually supposed to experience life. Now, I can actually give an example of a tree. If you actually look at how the tree actually grows, the strength isn't in the stem, like the way it actually is producing the good fruits. It's actually all based in the roots. And it's not only the roots as well, it's also the environment, like is the soil good or not. So if I actually use that tree metaphor to actually the human experience of life, we're gonna actually use that based on human success or anything else. It's like if you actually want to build something, what is the core? What is the core? What is the foundation of that build up? And what is the environment like? So that is my self-belief that the nature around us is actually an imitation of how the human is actually supposed to experience life. And with that belief, it actually led me to the chrysalis effect. Now, the chrysalis effect is this: when a caterpillar, there is a stage where a caterpillar actually encloses itself into a cocoon. It's a stage where it actually encloses itself, then it actually dissolves internally, and then the outward end result of that, it's a butterfly or maybe a moth. It doesn't, it actually happens within species, but that is sort of what actually happens to those species. Now, if I actually look at the chrysalis is the stage when the pupa is actually enclosed within the cocoon. I actually take that experience, that process, and actually attach it to the human life. Sometimes you actually feel like, sometimes I actually feel, because I'm actually using myself as the example, because these are my personal experiences. So I can't actually use other people. I can't. I'm actually using myself for these examples. Sometimes I actually feel that maybe I'm not actually progressing into anything or into someone else. Because you see, I'm actually working on a couple things. But the outward experience, believe me, that the outward appearance, it's stagnant. I exactly appear the same. Exactly. But internally, I'm actually going through all these emotions, all these mental changes, emotional changes, psychological, spiritual, etc. But the chrysalis effect statement is this: do not get discouraged by the stagnant outward appearance of things, because even though the outward results don't appear yet, the work first works on the inside, and then eventually it actually shows out on the outside. And when the work actually shows out on the outside, the end result might be a butterfly, a moth, or a human with fairy wings like Tinkerbell or whatever. But that's not actually the point. The point is the work actually first works on the inside. Because if you actually look at it, if I actually look at the process where the pupa actually encloses itself in its cocoon, the outward appearance, it's actually very stagnant. Like that thing is actually sitting there for days and nothing is actually happening. Literally nothing on the outward perspective. But internally, things are actually constantly happening. Metabolic reactions, continuated dissolving of internal organs, rebuilding themselves into something else. That is actually what's happening. But the question then actually becomes is, am I doing the work? Am I actually really, really, really doing the work? But if I am doing the work, I gotta actually think of the chrysalis effect. The work first works on the inside, then eventually actually does show on the outside. So yeah, that is the chrysalis effect. That is the chrysalis effect. That is exactly what it is. But yeah, there actually comes a lot of things with the outward appearance. Sometimes I actually speak a lot to other people, and then other people, they give me these eyes like, yo, this guy actually told me that he's working on something, but there are no results, you know? And sometimes I actually build these mental dialogues where I'm actually talking with them, and the end result is a negative one, but I actually didn't even talk about them. It's actually all in my head. That is literally what happens sometimes. And yeah, the outward appearance, there isn't really much to show up for, and people might actually say that you're wasting your time, I'm wasting my time, but that is literally how it works. The work first works on the inside and eventually does show up on the outside. So the thing that I actually gotta do to myself is to keep on working and actually look at the chrysalis effect process is how the human experience to life actually has to be. I'm not saying it's the only one. Yeah, maybe there are a lot of nature processes that actually mimic how the human experience to life is actually how it's supposed to be. But that is my belief. That is how I see things sometimes. That the nature around us, it's actually an imitation or a way to actually show us how the human being is actually supposed to live. So if you actually do take some time to actually look at nature itself, not like through some sort of sites, like of course you have to do, but not like some movies and all that, but literally nature itself, to actually take time to actually look at how nature actually does things and actually trying to tie your identity to something else, it actually then blends, and then you actually realize at what stage in your current life you actually are. That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how it works. So for me, with my stagnant outward appearance, but with the work I'm doing, yeah, my emotions are different, my thoughts are different, my feelings are different. It has to count for something. When I actually look at the chrysalis effect, to not get discouraged by the stagnant outward appearance of things, but to actually realize that as long as I'm keep on doing the work first works on the inside, and then eventually it does work on the outside. That's the chrysalis effect for me and for you. And yeah, if you actually are going through the same thing, if you actually sort of resonate with this, yeah, I actually think and do hope that it actually helps. But that's how it works. And yeah, and also my belief of that nature around us is a way to actually show us how the human being is actually supposed to experience life. If you actually think that's something I actually realize or whatever, yeah, it's cool if you actually note it down. But yeah, that's the chrysalis effect for you, Craig Mandy, and I'll be back with another one. That's what's up.